What up, everybody, and welcome once again to the Endzone, brought to you by Gym Bag Entertainment, and this is your show about football by guys that love football. And as always, it's your host, Craig, here with my co-host,
your boy Ace.
And we have a great show for you guys today, and we're going to kick it right off with the induction into the Hall of Fame of Jimmy Johnson. We have a clip for you, so we're going to roll that right now, jump into it.
Hall of Famer. Yeah. Coach, on behalf of the Pro Football Hall of Fame and all those fans that are watching and all of us who love this game,
You do this.
thank you, Coach, for all you've done for the game. Thank you for all you're going to do for the game. Thank you for the history that you've made and the lives that you've impacted. Thank you. It's my great honor to tell you that you're going to be the 328th Hall of Famer into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And your legacy is going to be in Canton, Ohio forever. Congratulations, Coach. Congratulations, Coach.
Great.
Hey, bud. Oh, my God. That is awesome.
Jimmy overcame emotion right now, but tell us what's
Yeah. The only thing I can think of is all the assistant coaches that have worked for me, all the great players that have played for me. They're the reason I'm here, and they're the reason I can't talk.
All right.
No.
Where's your bottle?
I mean, this is so special to me because when you put in the work that we put in, it's nice to know people appreciate it.
Absolutely. We love you, JJ.
Love you. Amen to that, brother. Love you. Congratulations. Jimmy Johnson, the latest member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
So special, man. And like I love, man, you could just see it in him, man. Like he was feeling it.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. Lost for words.
Yeah, he almost died up on the stage. From an overcoming of emotion. I love to see stuff like that, man.
Absolutely.
It's heartwarming tale. You got some accolades on Jimmy Johnson?
Well, he coached from 1989 to 1999. He coached the Dallas Cowboys from 1989 to 93. He coached Miami from 1996 to 99. His overall record was 80-64, and he was a back-to-back Super Bowl champ for the Dallas Cowboys.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Pretty
just
cool.
amazing.
And he coached some great talent.
Yeah, he did.
Like he said, assistant coaches. Like a lot of people don't realize that a lot of assistant coaches put in work for head coaches. So it's always nice when a head coach always gives credit to his assistants, because without assistants, you're not a head coach. So that was pretty cool.
He understands that there's no I in team, but it was so that was beautiful. Congratulations to Jimmy Johnson becoming the 328th inductee into the Hall of Fame, and that was an emotional moment. Now let's move on to this playoffs. I don't know about you, but this is by far the best postseason I've ever witnessed.
I would agree with that because, normally it's easy to go out there and pick the teams who you think's going to win.
Yep.
And 9 times out of 10, you're right, because it's almost always like a given.
Exactly.
But and me and you said it at the beginning of the year, this year of football was probably going to be one of the best. It's the 100th year anniversary.
Yep.
So with all that it came with it, it was an amazing season. I feel like we're not done seeing enough football yet. And I think more crazy things is going to happen.
Yeah.
And some of the events that happen, like a team coming back from 24 down, coaching, running backs touching the ball 30 playoff game and going over 100 yards, there's things that you saw this past weekend in football that makes you, that as a player, as a fan, as a coach, or anybody watching the game of football, it makes you feel like the game of football is not lost.
Definitely not.
For a long time, I tell people all the time, for a long time, I felt like football was a little lost due to the simple fact is how a lot of teams went from being like a traditional I formation team, pounding you down the throat, to become a spread football team, which is spreading you out and just throwing the ball or having run pass options and stuff like that. But watching a team like Tennessee just line up and punch it down your throat and smack you in the mouth and play that type of football and the grind and the grit, like, it's pretty amazing to see that. That
and
style
we have
of
all
football.
these new hybrid quarterbacks that can just, like Patrick Mahomes is the epitome of it all, can just do everything.
Everything.
And, Lamar Jackson has been a phenom. Ryan Tannehill, like, if you would have said Ryan Tannehill and the Tennessee Titans, led by Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry, would be going to the AFC Championship, I tell you, an idiot.
Just think about it for 1 second.
Yeah.
That team, that coach, for instance, he's amazing. You got to give him all the credit.
In the world.
Because that coach benched what was his franchise quarterback.
Correct.
To put in a backup, and the backup's been 9-1,
a backup with bad history.
10-1. Yeah, with really bad history, and he's been 10-1 since he's been there. So to make that coaching change, to make that change and to actually make that decision and run with it and run with it for 10 weeks, and you actually in the AFC Championship game, it shows that decision-making skill that he made was basically $1 million decision-making skill.
I'm saying, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but, I almost want to say Coach of the Year, bro.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, it's not an easy decision to say, I'm going to bench my first round number 2 overall draft pick quarterback for this guy who's never played a full season in the entire time he's been in the NFL, usually doesn't make it through the first half of the season, has never made it to the playoffs as far as I can remember, and you chose him. So you found a way to make the run game work. But I don't want to dive too much into that. I really want to talk about these games because there's a lot to say and not a whole lot of minutes to get it all said. So let's start off with the first game of the weekend. San Francisco just dominating Minnesota to move on to the NFC Championship. And even though I felt like it was the obvious thing, I was feeling Minnesota.
I wouldn't say it. See, again, in that game right there, I wouldn't say San Fran was the obvious pick.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I wouldn't say San Fran was the obvious pick because as we saw in the last 4 or 5 weeks of football, San Fran was banged up on defense and offense.
Yeah.
They was giving up big numbers towards the end of the season. And people thought, what happened to San Fran? Well, they was just getting healthy for this game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then on the flip side of things, Minnesota was actually really playing well. They was playing like top notch. They was playing as top 2, top 3 team in the league. So what they was doing and how San Fran managed to stop them from what they was doing, like stop them right in their tracks, it was great to see.
I agree.
Me personally, I definitely thought Minnesota would squeeze it out or give a better game. But,
especially how they beat New Orleans.
Yeah.
You know, like I agree with you to some degree that like New Orleans was like the favorite.
Absolutely.
And you knocked them out, and then you come to San Fran, and it's like you lost your game plan. You know, right from the rip, San Fran drives it down the field, gets that first touchdown in the red zone from pass from Garoppolo to Bourne, and then in the same first quarter, though, Minnesota comes right back, 41-yard touchdown pass to Stephon Diggs, and that was a beautiful play, kind of reminiscent of the championship, the NFC championship game versus New Orleans, but then after that, it seemed like it was almost all New Orleans the rest of the game, bringing it downfield again to rush in a touchdown with Tevin Coleman. But then you had
what about Tevin Coleman? Because a lot of people thought, I could say this.
Yeah, go ahead.
I could say this. I was one of the ones that I told you so type of guy, because when he went from Atlanta to San Fran, and like I tell you, and I'm gonna tell everybody, I'm gonna be completely honest.
Yep.
As me personally, I don't have a favorite football team.
Yep.
Why? Because I love the game so much. I watch every team every week. So it's like I can't really sit here. I got favorite players that I love watching to play the game because I love the way they play the game. And it's like so. But when I started this show with you and actually looking at depth charts and looking at players and looking at different things that I would never even look at because I just watch and, I look at numbers and stuff like that because I'm a numbers guy. But as far as like digging deep to looking at what draft picks they got and players that they picked up, like this show helped me understand football a lot more. And it's crazy because it's like we really sat here and counted San Fran out, but we already knew how good they really was. Yeah. And it's like Tevin Coleman, he rushed for, 130 or something like that?
I know he had a lot of rushing. I know he did have a lot of rushing yards. I didn't get the exact numbers.
22 attempts. Yeah, 22 attempts for 105 yards and 2 TDs. Like, this was a guy that made it with Atlanta and got lost in the Super Bowl and everybody counted him out, and then he gets his identity back and gets I'm impressed with the running back position this year by far.
Oh, of course, the run game has exceeded expectations on all over the NFL throughout most teams. And Tevin Coleman is a running back I've loved. Like you said, back in his Atlanta days, there was a lot of times where I was confused why he wasn't the starter over Freeman. Yep. Freeman, not to take nothing away from him, but Freeman is a great running back. But Tevin Coleman, it was about time he got his opportunity to be a starter. I really liked what I saw out of him, and he did a lot. Like you said, 2 touchdowns. I thought that in the second quarter, Minnesota found their way, was going to get that comeback when they got the pick off of Garoppolo, but then ended up ending in a field goal. It seemed like, to be honest with you, I gotta give like a little bit of credit to Kirk Cousins. I mean, the dude didn't give up, but his O-line did. Yes, his O-line was letting him get attacked all day.
And just for like a numbers aspect, Kirk Cousins, he was 21 of 29, 172 yards and 1 touchdown. Dalvin Cook had 9 attempts for 18 yards. Diggs had 57 yards and a touchdown. Thielen went 5 receptions for 50 yards. So it's like, I look at 2 things. Looking at Kirk Cousins' percentage on 21 of 29, that's pretty good for a quarterback. Good. That's almost great. And then looking at the rushing attempts and the receivers' catches and yardage, I just want to say, and I can go down, I want to go on record saying, like, this San Fran D may be the best D in the league. I always thought it was the Patriots D, but they was always neck and neck, and the way San Fran basically put the shackles on them.
Yo, that couldn't do anything. That front four in San Fran might be the scariest front four in the NFL. Nick Bosa ain't playing around, and neither are the rest of them guys.
I don't like that guy, but you see when he faked hurt, and then the stadium started screaming his name, and he just jumped up with things like that, bro. It's like that momentum right there. It's like if you're an away player playing in a stadium like that, and something like that happens, that's so hard to overcome. Like as a player, mindset, now your mind's focused in the crowd. Like what are they gonna say next? How much noise? Now you can't hear play calls and stuff. Like that type of stuff plays a big part. And also like Jimmy G, he was 11 of 19 for 131 yards and 1 touchdown. You had Coleman, 22 attempts, 105 yards, 2 touchdowns. Like that was it. So
yeah, man, the aerial attack. They literally beat the Vikings on every aspect of the ball.
Yeah, because the time of possession, San Fran had it for 38 minutes and 27 seconds. Minnesota had it 21 minutes, 33 seconds. Total offense, San Fran had 317 yards. Minnesota had 193 yards. San Fran had 21 first downs. Minnesota had 7. San Fran had 6 sacks. Minnesota had 2. Wow. It's like they controlled, like you said, they won every phase of that game.
Exactly.
And just a little side tidbit, because he's one of my favorite DBs in the league, Richard Sherman.
Yeah.
A lot of people feel like he don't have it anymore, or he lost it, or whatever. But I'm going to give you fans out there, because I love you guys.
Give it to him.
I'm going to give you a little tidbit about Richard Sherman. In 13 games this season, he's been targeted 34 times.
Wow.
In
That's
13 games, he's been targeted 34 times, gave up 17 receptions for 130 yards and 0 touchdowns. He has 2 picks in those 13 games, and his passing rating allowed is 35.2, which turns out that passing rate turns out to be 10 yards per game.
Wow.
So this man is giving up 10 yards per game.
Yeah.
he's locked down. So he's been overshadowed over guys who's getting interceptions and stuff like that because he's older, but his production didn't go anywhere. He's still producing. You
know why, though? Because he plays with his brain. He lost a little speed.
Yes.
So he plays with his brain, and he found out how to lock down a receiver who he can't keep up with. And it's been amazing because I'm not going to lie. I was one of those people that was just like, I love Sherman. And I like if Sherman came to the Patriots, I'd be stoked. But I wouldn't want to get Sherman. Like in my mind, I don't want to get Sherman to give up Gilmore. I wouldn't want to give up Sherman to keep like Chris Harris to get rid of. I wouldn't want to get Sherman and trade for Chris Harris, stuff like that. But he is right there with all them guys, and he's gotten older, but he's playing with his brain. And I love watching Richard Sherman play, and he's definitely a leader on this team. And like I said, even on they got a muffed punt on Abdullah and Mostart. He's getting touches on the ground, but then he plays special teams and gets a muffed punt recovery, and then and ends with a touchdown. I mean, this game was incredible.
And again, this is why I love this weekend, because it shows you so much. And like in high school, and that's why I tell all the kids on a high school level, middle school, Pop Warner, like while you're young, you should be playing every down of football. You should be trying to play every position that you can. If your coach starts you both ways, offense, defense, okay, you should be playing kick return, kick off, maybe take a break on punt, maybe punt return, but you should special teams is the key factor of the game. Look at in the KC game. There was probably about 35 points, 28 to 35 points off of special teams mistakes alone, from fumbles to different things like that, block punts and stuff like that. So it shows these kids out here that you could still make $1 million being a special team player going down there and tackle somebody. Yeah. You're not too cool for special teams, because one play off of special teams can change the whole dynamics of a football game. And that's what any kids watching, they should have watched that.
I mean, I don't know how famous he is across the NFL, but I know one of the most known players on the Patriots is Matthew Slater.
Yeah.
Because he's one of the best special teams players there's ever been. He gets down there, gets to the ball ASAP, man.
I think the best special teams guy ever, sidebar from away from everything, was Troy Brown from the Patriots.
Oh my God!
He played every position. They used to
cornerback, wide receiver, punt and kick returner. Man, what a all around player.
That's the guy, Troy Brown. I used to look up to him, watching him play and stuff like that, just to see how dynamic he was.
Yeah. You know who was almost close to him on that? Julian Edelman. When Julian Edelman first came to the Patriots, he got signed as a quarterback, but he played offense, defense, punt, and kick returner when this first season with us, because we still had Wes Welker.
Yep.
I remember that. All right, let's move on to this Tennessee-Baltimore game, and Tennessee kills Baltimore for what I gotta call the upset, the shocking upset of the season. I mean, I saw this coming. I called it. You agreed with me, but then when we played our little playoff game, you switched up on me.
Because it was different, because I told you, I said, I believe that Tennessee was going to win that game.
Yeah.
But if you're a betting man, you got to take the points with Tennessee getting 10 points. So I was all over that. But in a game like this, where we're picking a team win or lose, you can't go against a number 1 seed, no matter how much you feel like.
I did.
Absolutely.
Tannehill, what were we calling Tannehill early in the season? We were saying he's the poor man's MVP.
Yes, absolutely.
He's making a case for postseason MVP.
Wait. I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, I know. Derrick Henry's on top of it.
Due to the simple fact is, again, Tannehill's managing the game, doing what he has to do.
Protecting the ball.
But you got to understand this, too. They did take the ball out his hands.
What?
As in, think about it. Tannehill, he went 7 for 14 for 88 yards. Derrick Henry rushed the ball 30 times.
Oh, yes.
So what I mean by taking the ball out of his hand, meaning they don't have him throwing the ball 30, 40 times a game.
But he did have two passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown.
Yeah, but those are dumps. Those are 10, 15-yard dumps. No. You can go out there and dump something and put something together.
He had a 45-yard touchdown to Khalif Raymond.
And that was half of his 88 yards.
Yes,
and this is what so you're helping my argument is they're keeping the ball out of his hand, as in basically what All right, so
Most
if you watch
of
football,
Derrick Henry's yards came in the second half. Tannehill was handling the ball. Yeah.
Here's the thing. If you watch football, right?
Yep.
When I saw the opening drive of Baltimore coming out in a 5 wide, I said, "What are you doing? Why?" You went back to having Lamar Jackson go back into a 5 wide, which killed his whole first season, having him play that offense.
Yep.
When you was going 2 tight end front, big front, he can hand it off to Ingram and dump it off and have that run pass, have that run pass option type thing. Why are you letting this man throw the ball 50 times in a playoff game? I don't care if Ingram's hurt or not. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Tennessee took the formula of what they did versus the Patriots and what Baltimore been doing all year. They took that formula and used it against them.
Yep.
So Tennessee basically took what Baltimore does in their game plan and used it against them and beat them.
I hear you.
That's why I'm looking at it like, yeah, they took the ball out of Tannehill's hand because he only threw 14 passes. Any quarterback in a playoff game is throwing 30-plus passes. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
No running back in the NFL in a playoff time is touching the ball 30, 40 times a game unless you're Henry or Zeke.
Yeah, and
you get what I'm saying?
But you got to run it like Derrick Henry, man. You got to put the ball in his hands. You got to let him run it.
Absolutely, and I absolutely agree with you on that. That's why I said,
man, it takes a little while, but it works.
Yeah, that's why I said 30 attempts, 195 yards, 0 TDs. Tannehill's leading receiver was Raymond. He had 1 target, 1 reception for 45 yards. That was 50% of Tannehill's yardage.
Yeah.
Let's see. Time of possession, Baltimore had the ball 32 minutes and 6 seconds. Tennessee had it for 27 minutes, 54 seconds. Total yards, Baltimore put up 550. Tennessee, 308. Passing, Baltimore, 365. Tennessee, 91. Let's see. Rushing yards, Tennessee, 217. Baltimore, 185. First downs, Baltimore, 29. Tennessee, 15. Here's the major key right here.
Yep.
Turnovers, Baltimore 3, Tennessee 0. And sacks, Tennessee 4, Baltimore 1. So basically every stat of the game, Baltimore won every stat column, time of possession, all that.
Yep.
It was just that.
But they couldn't finish.
They could not finish. They wasn't finishing drives and all that.
This game was one game I do want to break down, because what was crazy is like the very first drive, Tennessee stalls out. They end up having to punt, and then the ball goes to Baltimore, and it's a great drive. Lamar Jackson's looking awesome. They're bringing it down the field, throws an interception. Well, cool little accolade. I wouldn't have expected this. I didn't realize this was even true. Earl Thomas earns his first career sack. Earl Thomas.
Well, he is a safety.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, a player like him of his caliber, I would think that at some point in time throughout his illustrious career, he would have had at least one other sack.
But you got to understand too when you're playing safety, if they don't put you in the box.
Yeah, exactly.
You get what I'm saying?
But it does happen.
He's not like a Palomalu type of safety.
Yeah.
Where Palomalu was
a safety?
Well,
I thought he was a linebacker.
He was a safety, linebacker, corner, anything in the secondary, because you could put him at different spots, because if he has to come off the edge and blitz, he's going to get you.
Yeah.
So with Earl Thomas, I'm not saying he's slow, but he don't have that same Palomalu speed to get back there. So you have him sit back and you have him be a robber instead of having him go up there and make plays at the line. So it's like different duties for different people.
Exactly.
And so I can't knock that.
Yeah,
safety getting one sack.
I think it's cool.
Yeah, that's
you got your
cool.
first sack.
Yeah. That's like saying a corner having 5 sacks. That's horrible. Like your corner should be 20 yards down the field every play chasing a receiver.
Exactly.
Not blitzing off the corner. Like, yeah, you want to catch him sleeping here and there, but to do it consistently, no.
Yeah, exactly. And then, I don't know if you watched the game. You must have. But that incredible touchdown pass to Jonnu Smith, that was a spectacular catch in the corner of the end zone.
The one that Henry threw?
No. The first touchdown of the game, thrown by Tannehill to the corner of the end zone, jumps over the defender, one-handed catch.
Oh, yeah.
That was the first touchdown of the game.
I like the one that Henry threw. I thought that was a tough catch.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
But that was the third touchdown, because after that, they get the ball back, and a 45-yard touchdown from Tannehill to Khalif Raymond, and that was a dope touchdown. and then a big drive from Jacksonville to end the second half, but it ends in a field goal. You know, Lamar Jackson was running incredible. Hollywood Brown was making some big catch plays. Henry starts off the second half with a big run, turns on the heat at the end of the second half. Big one-handed catch inside the 5-yard line of the second half, which ends in a field goal by Hollywood Brown. And then 20-plus yard run early in the third, turnover on downs. You know, Baltimore gets the ball to the 1-yard line. They do the traditional Lamar Jackson quarterback sneak, and Tennessee stuffs it for a turnover on downs, which leads to the big run for Henry, gets him inside the 10, and a nice little hike to the running back, fake the run, alley-oop, Corey Davis, touchdown in the end zone, and that's where it just completely falls apart for Baltimore. Jackson then fumbles the ball. Tennessee recovers it. Tannehill rushes for the touchdown. Henry just breaks off even more yards, killing more clock. Jackson tries one more time to bring it down the field. Too little, too late. With a touchdown pass to Hayden Hurst, and they missed the 2-point conversion, and that pretty much just puts the nail in the coffin for that game. But what an incredible game, man! Like, no one would have believed before the end, like halfway through the season, with Baltimore doing what they did, that they wouldn't be making it to at least the AFC Championship. Right. And you're definitely not gonna believe that he was going to lose to Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, and the Tennessee Titans. So
tighten up.
Yeah, man. Good luck to Tennessee in the future, man. I can't wait to see what happens in the AFC.
Shout out to my guys, my man Biggie. He's a diehard Tennessee fan. My boy Steve from college, Steve Ababareta. Corey Jar, those guys is like
they
big
love
time,
Tennessee.
Big time Tennessee tight. They're not fake with it either, so I respect them for that.
No doubt.
They're with it, rain, sleet, snow, hell, they're with them guys. So
I mean, if you're a Tennessee fan, that's how you gotta be.
Yeah, so I respect them guys. So shout out to you guys.
Shout out to you guys and your team, because they're doing big things. I can't wait to see what they do next.
Out next round.
Now,
we'll get to that later.
All right, man. KC makes the greatest comeback in postseason history. I will say this. That's what they say, but nothing beats down 28-3 in the first half to win it all in the fourth quarter in overtime.
The only difference I'm going to is this.
Yeah.
I feel as though KC's comeback was better, but it doesn't top the Pats, because Pats was actually in a Super Bowl. And that's the best way I can put it.
True. I will say this for KC. Only team in NFL history to go be down by 20 points and then win by 20 points.
And that's why I like that one, because it's like, first quarter, playoff game, you're down 21
points in the first, and then Houston kicks a field goal in
24
points.
Yeah, because they had the ball at the end of the first, and then beginning of the second, they kicked the field goal. So you're down 24-0.
Yep, it's over.
95% of the teams would have packed it in.
Yep, it's over.
Shout out to that coach over there, my guy.
Shout out to Patrick Mahomes.
My guy, the Philly guy over there that you was 50-50 about. You like Reed, but you don't love him.
But I didn't put Reed as high as I should have, and you corrected me on that, and I've come to see. Now, granted, he does have Patrick Mahomes.
But granted, you're down 24-0.
24-0.
As a coach, what do you say to your team when you're down 24-0 besides,
it ain't even halftime. It ain't even halftime.
You got to rally.
Like
one big, if I'm a coach down 24-0 in a game like that, only thing I'm gonna say is next play. That's the only thing you can tell your kids. Next play.
Yeah.
Next play. Next play.
Like it's 0-0.
And once they finally made that next play, what happened?
Oh man,
3 touchdowns in 3 minutes.
I mean,
unheard of. That's unheard of. 3 touchdowns. Not
it was ridiculous.
3 field goals. 3 touchdowns in under 3 minutes. It's ridiculous, bro.
And not even that, but Houston beat themselves, man. You're up 24 points and you run a fake field. I would say fake punt.
Definitely. What's his name? Brian, right?
Bill O'Brien.
Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien. He's definitely should be fired.
Really? You think so?
Absolutely. Because all right, you're down 24-0. Okay, mistakes happen. Now they're back in the game and stuff like that. The biggest part of that game is that play that you're talking about when you have it on when they did the fake punt. You was on their end of the field doing the fake punt. But then you're on your side of the field on your 30, 20-yard line, and it's 4th and 2, and you have 3 timeouts with 3 to 4 minutes left, and you don't go for it.
Yep.
You take a penalty to back yourself up so you can punt it to them.
Yep.
That was the stupidest thing that you could possibly do. You wanna
Nothing but
fake punt in their zone, but when you're in your own zone, you want to punt it to them. What sense does that make?
Desperation.
Like, and then that fake punt is what turned that game around because they was down 24-0 at that point.
Yep.
They did the fake punt. Boom. They come down and score. Boom. I think they went and kicked it off and someone fumbled or something like that or something. It was one thing after the next after that. Yeah, and it's like
drama.
It's like, as a head coach, you choose to go for it in their zone. But when you're in your own area, if you're over your own 50-yard line, like, my rule is this. My rule of thumb is this. If you're over your own 40, in your own 40 or better, you going for it, man. Like, unless it's like 4th and 13, 4th and 20.
Yeah.
If it's 4th and 6, 4th and 5, that's why you got plays in your playbook for things like that. But as far as just like punting it to them, no, never.
No,
never.
Not at that point.
And at that point right there, they was kind of rolling too on that drive where they could have went forward on 4th and 2, 4th and 3. They made a couple big catches on 3rd down to extend the drive, and then you just shot themselves in. And you see Watson and them, they didn't want to come off the field. They wanted to go for it.
Yeah,
and then the coach even had to call a timeout in order to get them off the field, in order to take a penalty, in order to back themselves up. Like, come on, man. Like, that was just horrible.
Nah, it was definitely terrible, man. What was crazy, Travis Kelce, 3 touchdowns. Damian Williams, I think he had 2 touchdowns.
I think he had Travis Kelce helped my argument with you that he is the best tight end. You was like, no, he's not better than Gronkster. Remember we talked about that?
He is absolutely not better than Gronk.
Yes.
Not even.
Yes.
They're not even in the same conversation.
Yes.
There is not a that's ever played in the NFL that's in the same conversation as Gronk.
Kelce is.
No.
Facts. Only thing different, Gronk cuts ships and Kelce don't. That's it.
Gronk is part of the reason why Patriots got the ships that they got.
Gronk never plays a whole season. I'm not hearing him.
What? He's played whole seasons. He didn't play whole seasons towards the end of his career.
Next.
But, you're bugging, bro. There's no world.
When your tight end gets 10 receptions, 140,
all
50
3
yards.
of his touchdowns came within 5 yards of the end zone.
But he plays bully ball. When he has that, he's almost like.
Are you saying Gronk doesn't play bully ball?
If you watch Kelce and you watch Derrick Henry.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is just blasphemy right now.
If you watch Kelce and you watch Henry, dudes just get to tackle them. They ain't even getting in their way, like, at all. Gronk, he's been out the league. Who cares about him? Who cares?
You brought it up.
He's out of here partying.
You brought it up.
I brought it up because Kelsey's better. That's
That's
baseline.
There's no time zone where that is true, man.
Well, see.
There's no time zone where that's true.
At the end of Kelsey's career, and Gronk's career is already over, we're going to compare numbers. And then we're gonna see. And we ain't gonna compare. No, we're not gonna compare championship rings. We're gonna exclude that. We're gonna compare
that's
that
stats. Fake LeBron. I love LeBron. Michael Jordan's not the greatest. We ain't counting champions. You always count championships.
LeBron.
The reason why Brady's number 1 over Peyton, championships.
No.
Yes, the reason why Brady's a number 1 over Joe Montana, championships. Championships make you the greatest. You know why?
But there's guys out there that got championships that didn't do nothing. So it's like
but those guys don't count as the greatest just because they got ships.
So basically, if I'm an average player and I got 2 championships, that makes me great.
Wait, what?
If you're an average player and got average stats, right?
Yeah.
And you get 2 championships, right? Mm-hmm. Does that make me greater than you?
How did you get those championships?
I'm just asking. Does that make me greater than you?
No.
Because I got 2 championships, but our stats are similar, but that makes me greater than you because I got 2 ships and you don't.
Yes.
Oh, that's tough.
That's not tough.
I don't believe
you said
that.
If stats are similar, but I got 2 ships and you got 0.
Yeah,
I'm better than you.
And football, I look at football as a team game. So it's like you probably in the playoffs could have had 5 catches for 100 yards, and you could have had in the playoffs 10 catches for 300 yards and your team lose, and this guy's team wins.
I'll give you this.
That doesn't make him better than you.
If you're talking about, say, I can't think of
It's like comparing apples to oranges.
Who's a defensive lineman that's been on the Patriots for when we won championships? We'll say maybe Dietrich Wise. He was on our team.
Oh my God, Will Fork.
All right, Will Fork. Will Fork is a better defensive lineman than Aaron Donald. Because he has more championships.
But that's two different players that you're comparing.
No, they play the same position. They're inside defensive linemen. They're same position.
Well, again, Woolfolk is the type of person that takes on 3-4. Darnold's more the type of guy who's a hybrid guy who's coming off the edge, coming downhill. It's two different. You get what I'm saying? Like that's my thing is I feel like when people try to, and I love this conversation because. My thing is when people try to compare athletes and accolades and all that stuff like that,
it's hard.
It's hard because
you're
comparing. Sometimes you're comparing two different, totally type of players. Like you can't expect for one person to do something. So that's why
I feel like championships
I'm just picking. I'm just picking at you because I love this conversation. So I'm just picking at the bear, and it's not just you. I'm just picking at it because I love like when kids, like you say, perfect example. Oh, LeBron James is the greatest ever. Did you not watch Michael Jordan? Did you not watch Kobe Bryant? But then they'd be like, oh, well, what about Robert Horry? He got 9 rings. Well, Robert Horry was just a part of the greatness that was happening during that time.
Bill Russell has the most rings in the NBA, but guess what? He's not the reason the Celtics won. He was just on the team.
He might have got a couple of them because of him, and then a couple of them wasn't because of him. You
see what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what I mean. But every championship is because of Bill Belichick and Tom Brady.
It's like apples to oranges, bro.
Tom Brady's always had different players, but he's always won the ship. All right, let's not kill this too much. So Houston, KC goes down, and Houston knocks it out. And to end the game on the last drive, that big sack by Clark, man, that was real big. He goes, even though I know this won't win you the game, I'm still not letting you have it. Yep. And I love that. That's end of the game play. And now on to the last game, Green Bay shutting down Seattle to make its way to the NFC Championship. This was a great game coming right out the gate.
I think this was the best game of the playoffs.
Really? Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I feel like it was, and before I get started on this, I gotta give another shout out. Shout out to my cousin Linwood, your Green Bay Packers.
Linwood.
Shout out to you, cuz
Green Bay, baby.
You know, he said we don't show him enough love on the show.
Really? I was like, favorite team.
I was like, we showed you plenty of love in Green Bay. He's like, nah, you guys don't talk about Green Bay enough. I'm like,
this isn't the Green Bay Packers show.
But you know what I did? I'm like, cuz I picked when we act. I'm like, go back. Like, I know we're on episode 35, 40 or whatever it is now, but I'm like, go back in time a little bit and watch the episode when I was the GM of the Green Bay Packers. Mm-hmm. I showed you the most love.
Yep.
I told you the players that they have.
Team. You said they were a complete team, man.
And look where they at right now. So, but I say the only reason why I say this was the greatest playoff game this year is because a lot of people thought it was going to be a rollover, whether Seattle was going to blow out Green Bay or Green Bay was going to blow out Seattle. A lot of people thought the weather was going to be a factor, but no, this was a good, hard-nosed football game.
This was the toughest game to call out of all games.
Yes, Seattle, yes. And I knew, like, we know how Russ is. Russ don't have no quit in him. Mm-hmm. So you knew he was never going to quit in that game. Yep. To watch them kind of fight to the end was amazing to see because they're another team that could have folded. But I like how they pointed out, because a lot of people get this mistaken. It's like when you're watching NFL and they're looking at the yellow line for the first down. You know, that's an unofficial yellow line. So you can never go by what that yellow line's saying.
I'm glad that you're talking about
because that yellow line doesn't mean nothing to a football player. We look at,
because it's not really there.
It's not really there. No, it's not there. So, like, if I'm at the game, you're not seeing that yellow line. No, you're looking at the marker. Where's that first down? You know, and that's where some people get messed up because,
to be honest with you, until later on, I'm not gonna lie. When I first saw that play, when I watched that game, I was like, man, Green Bay got away with one right there. But then Devontae Adams was like, for all you doubters, here's your proof. Shut up, and he showed where the marker was, and it was behind the yellow line. Yeah. So he did actually make it to the spot, and it's clear cut. It's clear cut
because you got to understand, like, that yellow line is every 10 yards on TV, and it's just the TV stations putting it on every 10 yards. So it's like automatically randomly set up every 10 yards. Sometimes that ball will be on like the 31 and a half. Like, it's not always like refs don't always put it on the actual number. Sometimes that's why football's the game of inches. You can have to go an inch for a first down and may not get it. Like, and that's because like unofficial lines and stuff like that. So you can't pay attention to that. So when you're watching the game at home, watch it in peace and know that, that yellow line's unofficial. You know?
But, I feel like both quarterbacks really put the team on their back. I feel like Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, they have a lot in common. They both use their athleticism to move the ball. And actually, I almost forgot about this because I was trying to break down this game a little bit. I want to go back to Kansas City for a second.
Okay.
Can we talk about the last touchdown that Patrick Mahomes threw with the toe drag? I didn't even know quarterbacks could do a toe drag.
Oh, yeah. When he dragged his foot
behind the
and that's another rule. That's another rule.
I didn't know that rule.
So the rule is right.
Yeah, I know. Well, I know it now, but explain it to the fans.
So for the fans out there that don't know, to have a legal forward pass. That's what they call it, a legal forward pass. So to have a legal forward pass, your whole body has to cross that line.
Every inch.
Every inch of your body has to cross that line. And mind you, we don't know the line because on TV it's unofficial.
It's off the field.
And it's off the field. So the way what Mahomes did was he's so smart, and I'm glad you did point that out because that shows all the young quarterbacks at home. He's so smart to know that half his body was going to cross, but he wasn't allowing his full body to cross. So he took his right leg and dragged it to make sure some body part was behind that line of scrimmage and threw that touchdown.
To have that vision.
And
that thought process. While being chased down, running to the line of scrimmage and have that, not just the vision, but the forethought. I need to drag my foot as I'm throwing this to make sure I'm over behind the line. Like
that was like a Tom Brady move.
Oh, man.
Like, because I always tell anybody, like, why Tom Brady's great? Because he knows the rules inside out.
Yeah.
He's almost telling refs their job. You know what I'm saying? Because he pays attention to the rules and regulations. He reads it. He knows every inch of the game. Same thing with Bill Belichick. A lot of the plays and stuff that he runs, like rub routes and stuff like that, it's all about knowing the rules of the league. And that impressed me that Mahomes did that and knew that he had to have some body part behind that line of scrimmage.
To me, that's one of the greatest plays of the postseason, man. I've never seen a toe drag, so that's awesome. Now we get back to this Green Bay game. The first drive goes 4 minutes down the field, touchdown pass to Davante Adams, which was great. But then what was crazy is you had a fumble by Hollister. That gets overturned because in the replay, no clear recovery. So Seattle Seahawks, they get it, they get a break, but it ends up, it turns into a punt. Green Bay gets pass interference on the 2-yard line,
which it was. Giving Aaron Jones an easy TD.
Yep. Aaron Jones playing great football. Davante Adams playing great football. Jimmy Graham showing you why he's a veteran stud tight end. But then another problem, Seattle was down by 5 points. You know why Seattle's down by 5 points? Because Myers misses a field goal. To take away, give that 3 points back, and maybe Seattle's playing the ball different. They're just trying to get in field goal range. Maybe they don't go for 2 on that last touchdown that they scored because they failed on the 2-point conversion. They might not have gone for 2. Jadeveon Clowney making a lot of mental errors defensively, causing many penalties in the first half. It was a crazy back and forth game, man. I don't know if I'd say it was the best game, but I can't disagree with you that it wasn't the best game of the night.
It was the best game. It was the best game
of the weekend.
Of all the weekends. Look at it. Look at all the stuff that's been going on.
It was very dramatic.
It's like, they was down 4 or 5 points, but they still had opportunities too.
Yeah.
Graham, he caught a big third down catch. It was like 3rd and
9. No, it's 3rd and 9.
Big catch. Yeah. Big catch, and that sealed the game. And it's like, he used to play. Like, he used to play for them.
Yeah.
So it was like,
and at his best, when he was with the Saints. But Griffin the linebacker for Seattle comes in with a big play, sacks Aaron Rodgers on third down to give Seattle that last opportunity.
That was Shaquan Griffin, right?
Shaquan Griffin, yep.
The one with the arm.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep. That's my guy.
But then Russ gets sacked by Smith on the third. That gives the ball back to the Packers, and that's when they make the final drive to ice the game and get themselves that last spot in the NFC Championship.
Yeah, but and then just for stats purposes, Russ, he was 21 of 31, 277 yards, 1 touchdown. He had 7 attempts rushing the ball for 64 yards. Tyler Lockett had 9 receptions, 136 yards. Aaron Rodgers was 16 of 27, 243 yards, 2 TDs. Jones was 21 attempts for 62 yards, 2 TDs. Adams, 8 receptions, 160 yards, 2 TDs. Time of possession, Seattle had it for 30 minutes and 31 seconds. Green Bay had it for 29 minutes, 29 seconds. Total yards, 387 Seattle, 352 Green Bay. Rushing yards, Seattle had 110, Green Bay had 109. First down, Seattle had 23, Green Bay had 22. Sacks, Green Bay had 5, Seattle had 22. So going back to Green Bay, I don't think people realize their offseason moves that they made to become a better team. But for the guys that they brought in, it was like a safety, a linebacker.
The linebacker is Zadarius Smith. Who got that big sack on Russell Wilson.
So those guys there brought that team morale out and brought that defense up.
Safety that they picked up?
Their starter, whoever's the starting safety.
Yeah. I know that they. I can't think of his name.
He has dreads.
Yeah, 2 A's in his first name and last name begin with an A, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they brought in the pieces that they needed. The only thing I thought that they were missing this year was a secondary wide receiver, like that slot receiver. I feel like they didn't really have that this year. They lost Randall Cobb and they didn't replace him with the right piece.
But that wide receiver too is wide receiver by committee because sometimes they throw it to the tight end.
Yeah.
So now they're utilizing that tight end more so as a receiver too. Mm-hmm. That's why Graham been getting a lot of looks too. You know.
Yeah, it's just been the best playoffs a football fan could ask for. While we have some time, I really want to talk about this because I think this is going to be the highlight of our show come February. The XFL starts February 8th, and where we was going to have to force content for our fans come after February. Now we're going to be able to sprinkle on a little bit more football with this XFL thing going on. The first game is Saturday, Seattle versus DC, and that's the Seattle Dragons versus the DC Defenders. That's a 2 p.m. game. And then at 5 p.m., you have the Los Angeles Wildcats facing the Houston Roughnecks. Sunday, I didn't write down the times. Tampa Bay Vipers are facing the New York Guardians, and then St. Louis. What's the St. Louis team? The Battlehawks are going up against the Dallas Renegades. So we got 4 games going on the first weekend, literally the weekend after the Super Bowl. I'm kind of excited, and you know who's trying out to be a kicker? Chad Ochocinco. Chad Ochocinco is trying out for the kicker position on one of the teams. I don't know exactly which team he's trying out for, but I think that's funny. A wide receiver trying to be a kicker. It makes for interesting football.
Just to show that he's just an athlete.
Yeah.
You know? And
he just wants to be part of the game.
Yeah.
There's a lot of names. The one name I know is Connor Cook. He was an early round draft pick for Oakland 2 or 3 years ago at the quarterback position. He'll be in the XFL. Lance Dunbar. That's a name you haven't heard in a long time. Lance Dunbar, former running back for the Dallas Cowboys. He was an excellent running back.
He was I wouldn't say excellent. He was okay.
For a backup, he was excellent. I thought when he came in, he did well.
He was all right.
Yeah, all right.
Don't give him too much.
I'm not going to give him too much.
He's in the XFL now.
I just remember the year that DeMarco Murray went down. Lance Dunbar stepped up and did his thing. But it's hard not to be a good running back behind that offensive line.
Me personally, I probably won't watch it. I'll probably follow it off of content purposes.
Yeah.
But as far as watching it, I probably won't. Those type of things don't interest me.
You know what? I want to watch just to see if it's gonna be anything worth watching.
Because, like, again, for the game of football, it kind of sucks, bro.
You think so?
Yeah. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because if you look at any sport, as a kid growing up, right? And if you look at baseball, if you look at basketball, if you look at hockey, soccer, any sport, lacrosse, you know, all those sports have AAU.
Yes.
All those sports have traveling teams.
Yeah.
And when you're playing, you know, some people's parents got to pay money for them to play. Some people get, like, you know, scholarships or whatever to play AAU. Not scholarships, but, you know, like a parent will pay for a kid that's good or whatever. You know, things like that. It doesn't even matter how you play as long as you get to play.
Yeah.
So all these sports have different ways in order to get noticed. Whereas football, you just got your regular high school season. You got your regular Pop Warner season. You nowadays, flag is becoming a big thing. So you got flag, but I know a lot of guys that I coach, guys that I play with, nasty at flag. You get put pads on them, they're not the same animal.
Oh, of
it's
course.
different. You get what I'm saying?
Of course.
Like, flag is more of a finesse game, more so it is feeling a hit coming.
Yeah, exactly.
No one holds, no one reads, being able to read a defense, being able to read off, like, you know, and with this XFL thing, the reason why I mentioned them, because with this XFL thing, it's not even part of the NFL. And that's what I hate about it is I would have watched it and I would follow it if it was a part of the NFL. Like how you got, like, NBA D-League, how you got
minor league baseball,
AAA, single A, double A. You got AAA, single A. Hockey's kind of like the same way too.
Yeah, it's like I forgot what they call them.
Yeah, but even like hockey as a kid, you got like USA teams and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I know a girl that I went to high school with.
I think it's about time football has something like that. Yeah, it's not a minor league for the NFL, but it's for me personally, I hate that you go so long without getting to watch football. The off season is so long. So to be able for there to be a possibility to watch football that's somewhere in between college and NFL.
But it's not authentic. You get what I'm saying?
We don't know that yet.
It won't be, because at the end of the day, it's not a part of the NFL, so it won't be authentic. They're going to have their own certain rules and stuff that they probably play by. So
I know that there are some different things.
You get what I'm saying? Like for instance, why you think Ice-T's 3-on-3 basketball league is so good? That he just started.
You mean Ice Cube?
I mean Ice Cube.
Yeah.
3-on-3 basketball league that he just started. Why is that so good?
I don't know. Tell me.
It's on TV and all that.
Yeah.
Why? Because he's bringing in college players. He's bringing in old NBA players.
Yep.
And they're kind of still have that end to the NBA. You get what I'm saying?
That's what I think the XFL is kind of.
But it's not, because the NFL don't even want to touch it.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? NFL don't want nothing to do with it. Like, these team names should be named after, you know, there should be a Boston team, Boston Patriots or something like that. It should be like that. You get what I'm saying? Like, make it some part of the NFL, so these guys who's actually playing and risking their body, instead of them risking their body for chump change, well, not chump change to me, but chump change to them, 50,000, 100,000, instead of playing for that, you could go out there and find someone in the XFL that can probably be decent in the NFL. Maybe. And that's why it should be, if it was like a...
But then again, though, they have the Canadian League, and nobody has ever been successful coming out of the Canadian League.
They was, though.
Who? Name one player from that came out of the Canadian League that was successful.
NFL used to send their players to the Canadian League. Like a Ricky Williams played in the Canadian League when he couldn't pass a drug test in the NFL. Yeah. Let's send him to the Canadian League, get this work, and send him back and make sure he's clean.
He's the only person I ever heard of that.
But there's NFL players like that goes to the Canadian League for rehab or whatever and come back. The NFL uses the Canadian. They used to use the Canadian League as their minor league.
Yeah.
But they didn't. They still had no affiliation. Like, if you're playing Canadian League football and you don't have an agent, you're not getting paid like that. You're paid. They might say, yeah, you're gonna make 30,000, but you might walk away with 10,000.
Yeah.
Why? Because you're just a guy that's playing and you have no agent.
I talked about it a while back. I know that the money that they make for the XFL is not peanuts. They're not making like 30, 40.
Yeah, you told me it was like some of the. It was all by like position or something like that. Yeah,
quarterbacks will make the most money, but you can make like a couple 100,000. I think you can make almost up to $1 million. But with this last 5 minutes, let's take a quick moment to talk about the AFC and NFC Championship. First up, you got San Fran versus Green Bay. And I think that this might be the best matchup we're gonna see. Both teams want it really bad. Who you think wins and why? It's a tough one to call. It's a tough one to call.
It's tough. You threw a curveball at me right
there. Yeah, man. See, for me,
I feel like
I want Green Bay to win, but I feel like San Fran's D is just too much.
But I feel I gotta. If I was to pick or choose who I want to see win, it would be Green Bay for my cousin Wood, so he can keep on shutting up the Facebook doubters.
Green Bay is my second favorite team, so I want him to win.
Like, it's going to be a tough game. San Fran's offense is going to have to really put up points because
they do have a solid offense, though, and they can run the ball.
Yeah, they do. But I think Green Bay's defense is a lot better than what everybody's giving them credit.
I agree.
You get what I'm saying?
I agree.
So I think that, like, they got to
Seattle had a tough time.
I really think that San Fran has to win that phase. If San Fran wins the offensive phase of the game, then they'll probably win that game.
Something tells me it's going to be a low-scoring game.
Low scoring. I believe it's going to be low scoring. Green Bay is like a KC type of team where they can score at will. They can score any given time. They can score passing. They can score running. They got a really good running back, and so that's gonna be the game of the week. That's gonna be the toughest game, but it's gonna be hard to call. It's all about who do you like in that moment, game.
I think San Fran, if they can find a way to get to Aaron Rodgers early and often with that defensive line and maintain their poise throughout the 4 quarters, because in this game, it's a 4-quarter game, man. Like, you're not going to shut them down the way you did Minnesota. It's going to be a 4-quarter game, and if San Fran can maintain the defense, I would give it to them. But I love Aaron Rodgers. I love Green Bay. I would love to see them get to the Super Bowl and have an opportunity to get another ring, although, when we say Patriots are out of it, we know that's not really true, because we got Jimmy Garoppolo, we we got
Patriots
all these
fans
Patriots
be trying
players.
To hold on to life.
We're holding on to every piece
you guys
that
is
we
golfing.
can.
Go golfing.
Bill O'Brien.
How about Tom Brady? Tom Brady cleaned out his suite in New England. He moved out of Brookline.
Yeah.
Y'all better stop paying attention.
I ain't worried about that, because listen.
Your guy Edelman's over here on steroids, having roid rage, dancing on cars and going crazy.
Yo,
Patriots, what happened to the Patriots way?
Patrick Chung beat the charge, though.
Yeah.
He beat that cocaine charge.
Yeah.
But if I had to choose, I'm not saying this is what I'm going to put on my pick, but if I had to choose, I want to choose Green Bay. Now let's talk about this Kansas City Tennessee game. Who's gonna win? And how can they make that happen? What do they need to do that?
Kansas City is gonna win by a landslide. Blowout.
Okay, this is why I believe you to be wrong.
Blowout.
Tennessee is going to dominate Kansas City, and this is the reason why. And it's the reason why they've been dominating.
Riddle me this. Go ahead.
Kansas City's run stop ability is not that good. Derrick Henry's ability to run through that line, find the holes, and get the extra yardage is bar none. There's a reason he won the rushing title. They're going to put the ball in his hands again. Ryan Tannehill's playing like a man possessed. And guess what? This is a team that has nothing to lose. Kansas City was here. Kansas City has already been here before. And what happened when they got here? They froze up.
Craig,
Kansas City froze up.
Craig, I love you, brother.
Yeah.
Sometimes you be going off the deep end on me, boy.
What do you mean, bro?
Kansas City.
Yep.
A team that you just saw down 24 points.
Yep.
24-0.
To a team that made mistakes.
Time out.
Yep.
Come back and beat a team by the same amount that they was down in the first quarter and put up 50 points.
Yeah.
They're scoring at will on Tennessee. Tennessee running the ball all game. Yeah, run. Because you can run the ball all game because it's only going to take me 1 to 2 to 3 plays to score. So, okay,
this is true.
You could take that 15, 20 plays to score because I'm going to score quick. And if Tennessee can't go score for score with KC, they're done. KC don't care about
Baltimore's the highest scoring team in the league, and we shut them. And they shut them down. I said we, like I'm Tennessee. Tennessee shut them down.
You can't compare Baltimore to KC. Please don't, because Baltimore was just on their high horse this season. KC's been here before.
And what happened when they got here last time?
They played versus a way better. They played versus a way better Patriots team than this Tennessee team.
Nice.
They was way better than this Tennessee team. Let's be real. All right. But so let's not go there. Come on now. I honestly think, you know, when they always say, when you see a quarterback doing good and they keep on getting to the same spot and then they finally surpass that spot, like kind of like Drew Brees kept on making the playoffs. Then he finally won that one playoff game and then he won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I think that's where it is right now with Patrick Mahomes. Like, he's been here, young in his career. Get the Super Bowl out the way now, so no critic. If he gets the Super Bowl this year, no one can say nothing to this man for the rest of his career. He has no worries. He's already a Super Bowl quarterback.
What made people run out of it?
Yeah, what made people stop talking about Drew Brees and comparing him? Once he won that Super Bowl, he was in the same talks of the Brady and Manning. So Patrick Mahomes, I think you got to put him on Mount Rushmore because this is his year. I would love to see him versus Aaron Rodgers because either way, I'll be happy to see any one of them win it.
State Farm about to give out big paychecks right now because the two of them.
Yes.
All right, that's all we have for you today. Running over a minute or so, but check us out on YouTube, Gym Bag Entertainment. And until next week, we'll see you in the end zone. Have a good night.